Good morning. It is Friday morning, July the 15th, and it is a gorgeous morning here in Western Maryland. Thank you for joining me at Stampin' with a Friend. You are stamping with Lois Friend. And today I'm going to share some projects that we did at our July club. It was a new technique. I try to do a technique each month or a product of some sort, new product. But this month we did the whitewash technique. And I had seen it on some videos and I had never tried it. When I think of whitewash, it always reminds me of the story that I read as a child of Tom Sawyer, how he tricked the others to whitewash a fence. And for some reason, that stuck in my head as I was preparing my projects for the month of July. We made 3 different projects using our white pigment ink. And I will show these, and I'm going to demonstrate how we did some of them. And I tried to give some variety to the girls in July. When they were here, I generally do one card and we pretty much do that card, but I always give the girls an opportunity to make it their own, create their own, use their own ideas. And so I actually did 3 on that one. And this was our 3rd card. And they all are unique in their design, but they all have one thing in common. They're using the white pigment ink, as I mentioned earlier. And pigment ink is used for heat embossing or creating an opaque look on dark cardstock. And it does give a really unique look. So we're going to get started. None of the cards are hard. And you probably don't have, or you may not have, the stamps that I'm going to be using in this in these designs. But get creative. Use your own. They're made to any stamp will work. So the first one, and I do apologize, just right before I started taping, my sinuses or allergies or something started to take hold. So if my voice cracks, I'm really sorry, and hopefully my nose won't run. So we'll get started. And the first thing I'm going to do is on this particular card, I used Stampin' Up! Celebrate Sunflowers, and I like that great big sunflower. Sunflowers just make me smile. They look like big, happy smiles. So we're going to first do our color on color. And I'm using the Starry Skies ink and paper. That's one of my favorites. It's one of the new in colors. It'll be around for 2 years. It's the 2022 through 2024, one of the in colors. And I think it's my favorite. As I told the girls last week at class, that I suddenly discovered that my cardstock was getting low, and then I remembered I'd been using it a lot. So if they were tired of it, I was very sorry. But it is one of my favorites. I love the blue. Now, as I prepared these cards for class last week, I discovered something. I was watching a video. I believe it was fellow demonstrator Lisa Curcio, and she mentioned that when you're using the blender pens, which we will be using in most of the designs, you should never put your blender pen in the ink pad. Because there's glycerin in the blender pens, you'll get pooling in your ink pads if you put directly your blender pen onto your ink pad. And this is something I did not know. I learned that as I was preparing. So I've been doing it for years and I hadn't noticed, but anyway, you're never too old to learn new things. So in substituting your dipping it in, you're going to create your own ink pad on the block. So now to start the process, and you might want to tap off just a little bit before you start, hoping I can keep my head out of the camera and my hands on the camera. And you're just going to, basically all you're doing is coloring in those petals. And as the girls did this last week, when they first started, they indicate, oh, they weren't sure about that. They thought it just looked like a blob. But I felt that too as I was preparing the first time. But as you slowly create and color, it starts taking shape. And as the girls completed their projects last week, they all determined that they really, really liked that technique. And you can start out light. As it dries, the white does dry a little lighter, and you can always go back and add more. But it's easier to start light and add as you need to. Once you get it on there, it's hard to take it off. You can't take it off. So you're just using your blender pen lightly, like a paintbrush. Oops, sorry. And no two cards are going to be the same. Even if the same person is doing them, no two cards is ever going to be the same. Now, I will say some of the gals last week, they just outlined the petal and the veining in the petal, and that was pretty too. And you just spread it around. If you need to add more. And I'm not going to finish this on film. I'll do it later when because you all know, you get the idea. It probably is a little on the boring side to sit there and watch me color. So you get the gist of what we're doing. You're whitewashing this flower. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm not going to finish this on camera, but you get the idea. It's a different kind of look, but it's unique. It's very unique. I would suggest that if you're using your own stamps, use an open type stamp. But I've seen others do it. I shouldn't say that because I have seen others do it on some other stamps. and it works well. It works very well. So then for these cards, I'll hang on to that because I'm going to be using it in one of the other cards. I used two different sentiments in these. On this one, I used the stamp, the Above and Beyond. You go there a lot. I think for this one, I'm going to use another stamp from this Shaded Summer. It says, "Some friendships are just meant to be." And I have discovered that recently, that how true that is, that some friendships are just meant to be. And as we go through the life, friends are definitely precious, precious jewels to us. And now I have ink on my fingers, and get that cleaned off. As I tell everybody, if you don't have ink on your fingers, then you haven't had a good day. And I will put this together later on, and I have cut some butterflies from the Brilliant Wings dies. There's all kinds of butterflies and designs. I used two of the smaller ones from this. And I think on this one, I'm going to use a yellow one. And I will attach those with some glue dots. And there you go. There you have it. It's a fun and easy technique, and you can just do that all day. It's very, very relaxing. Just coloring with white marker. Now, okay. And now we'll go to the next one, the next card. And it's also using the white ink. I've done three different ones. And what I did on this is, first of all, I embossed the white cardstock with our Fern 3D embossing folder, and I love this. This is one of my favorite embossing folders right now. It's in the annual book. So that has already been run through, and I then cut some die cut some fresh freesia and some smoky slate using the scallop contour dies, also in the annual book. And I like this little one because with this you can slide ribbon under like I've done in this one, and decorate it, and it's just makes for a really pretty stepped up card. Okay, now what I did on there was I did some heat embossing, and I'm using this new stamp. It's a bundle in the our July to December catalog. It's called Splendid Thoughts. I got the whole bundle, and it's a beautiful card. This is eucalyptus, but we're not making it green in this card tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp on this and heat emboss. This is white embossing powder. And then we'll heat that with our heat tool. Now I have already, so that you don't stand and hear me running the heating tool, I have already completed that on on a piece. I'll finish that up later, the other one. And this time, this time we're going to use that block again. And we're going to color in the white. And I don't try to make sure I fill in all the space. It's just a little bit of color. And we're going to cover that up anyway. And you can add more, as we did in the other card. Okay, now in this one, we're going to add a little color. I'm going to add some fresh freesia, and because I'm using the blender pen, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the white in the fresh freesia, so that we're not touching the blender pen right directly onto the ink pad. And we're going to clean off, just roll to clean off your blender pen. Always clean your blender pen off. We're going to use just a darker piece of cardstock that we can see that it's cleaned off. And then we're going to do the same thing with the fresh freesia over the white. And because of it being over the white, it gives it a completely different look of the fresh freesia. And the fresh freesia is an in color from the 2021 collection, and it's available through May of 2023. And these colors just go so well together. And there you have it. Easy peasy. Now, I'll show you these 3 cards that I did again, and I'll show you what I did, how they're different. This one is done this way. It's just the heat embossed, then white, then covered with the fresh freesia. This, I added a layer of Wink of Stella just to add just a little bit of zing to it. And then this one, I just coated it with a white and then added the Wink of Stella. So there are some choices you can do. And as I said, there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever look you're striving for in your design. So I think I'll go ahead and add the wink to this. Because I love that look. Just adds just a little bit of pop to your design. And there you have it. Take that, that'll take just a minute to dry. And then I think on this one, I'm going to go ahead and design that. I'll use our Stampin' Seal. And then I'll add this. Okay, so before I go further, I will go on this one. I'll just add some of our fresh freesia open weave ribbon. And like I said, it is and I should have done that before I attached, shouldn't I? I think I can catch it. I'm going to pop this one up with some of our Stampin' Dimensionals, just to add a little bit of dimension to the card. I should have done this. I knew I was missing something, but I'll go back and make sure that's attached. And then you just take off the pop dots, bottom. This is not how I would do it if I was doing it on film, but I got a little ahead of myself. You can always fix it. And I'll run that in there and run that in there. And you can add a sentiment. I think I'm going to leave it blank until I decide what I want. Seems like when I need a card of a certain kind, I don't have it because I've already put I've put sentiments on it. Anyway, I will fix that off camera, but that's how you do the second technique. Okay, and our third and final, it is so easy. I told the girls they could do it in probably 30 seconds. And this stamp set that I've used here is called Wonderful World, and it is available for a limited time. It is one of our celebration items, and the celebration is going on now through the end of August, and this is one that you can get free. It's a bundle. It's this set and the paper, and it's beautiful paper. I should have put this down, but it's gorgeous paper that comes in the bundle, and both the paper and the stamp set can be yours free with a purchase of $100. You can get both pieces, and I really like this set. So we are using that, and it is just basic stamping. We'll start out with the white. And stamp wherever you want. Let that dry a minute. And because I'm using the pigment ink, I am using my Stampin' Scrub to clean with. The pigment ink is thicker, and I think the Stampin' Scrub works just a little bit better in cleaning it good. Okay. Now, the other color I'm using is Gorgeous Grape. And I'm going to just rotate it a little bit to the left, or you can do the right or whatever, and just you're stamping and you're just making a shadow. And I'm not sure if this particular stamping technique is considered whitewash or not, but I liked it. It's easy. I love the effect. So since we were using the white pigment ink anyway, I decided to throw that in. And then and you can add any sentiment that you want. I use Thinking of You for that. Let's see, what shall we use? Let's do Let's Celebrate You from the Sunflower set. I'll put it on top. I wasn't going to add a sentiment, and I decided that I would. Oh, I even managed to get it straight almost, I think. I think it's straight. And we'll attach that to the white. And I'm using Gorgeous Grape as a base card. Burnish it with our bone folder to get a nice crisp look. And you could add some ribbon or bling if you want. And I'm going to put a white piece in the middle for my when I use darker cardstock for the base. I like to always put white inside. And I think I'm going to add, I like those little flowers. I'm going to add those to the bottom. And I obviously have purple on my fingers because I've got that smeared a little bit on the back, but nobody will notice. And while we're at it, let's add just a touch to our envelopes. I have some of the girls that always remember before they leave, they always decorate their envelope. I'll put this on the back. I oftentimes, many times, forget to decorate my envelope. But it makes a beautiful little set. Makes gifts as we're starting to wind up for thinking about the holidays. I know it's only July, but with our catalog coming out, featuring our Christmas stamps, it's out and available now. Makes you start thinking a little bit about Christmas. And I like to make Christmas cards, these cards, and give them as gifts. I do 5 or 6 and make gifts and give them out. It's gifts to people who like sending handmade cards, but they just don't have the time or the means to do the stamping. So I think that's all. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of discombobulated today. It's been a very, very busy week. I hope you'll forgive me and join in next time. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You can find me, my online store at loisfriend.stampinup.net. So I thank you for joining me. And like I said, please forgive me for being so disjointed today. It's been a crazy couple of days. So thank you and have a good day.